I know the feeling when you see a high-end thermal binocular on a forum and wonder whether it's worth the price tag or just another gadget that gathers dust. You've probably been juggling a few maybe later tabs, trying to figure out if the specs actually translate into something you'll use on the trail, on the range, or in a nighttime security sweep. The goal of this review is to cut through the marketing hype and give you a clear picture of where the Pulsar Merger LRF XP50 really shines, where it falls short, and whether it fits the kind of work or play you have in mind. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's place the Merger LRF in the broader category of thermal optics. Thermal binoculars sit between traditional night vision goggles and single-tube thermal rifle scopes. They're meant to give you 2 eyes worth of thermal imagery, which can be a game-changer for depth perception when you're trying to locate moving heat signatures at a distance. The added laser rangefinder is meant to give you an instant distance readout without pulling out a separate device. In practice, that combination is most valuable when you need to make quick decisions. Think a hunter spotting a buck at the edge of a clearing, a wildlife photographer determining how far a herd is before setting up a shot, or a security guard confirming the proximity of an intruder before calling for backup. The Merger LRF packs a 640480 pixel sensor, which, on paper, sounds impressive for a binocular format. In real-world use, that translates into a fairly crisp thermal picture that lets you distinguish a deer's outline from surrounding foliage at the claimed long detection range of around 1,800 meters for a human-sized heat source. The 2.520 magnification lets you start wide to scan a horizon and then tighten in without losing the thermal context, a useful feature when you're tracking a moving animal that might dart behind cover. The built-in laser rangefinder clicks in a distance readout on the display, so you can confirm whether the target is within an effective engagement range for your rifle or simply out of sight. One of the strengths that shows up after a few hours of field testing is the dual battery system. Pulsar designed the unit to run off 2 rechargeable packs, and the claim of extended performance holds up. I was able to get roughly 3 to 4 hours of continuous operation on a single charge, even while toggling between high-resolution thermal mode and the Wi-Fi streaming function. That matters if you're out on a long hunt or a nighttime surveillance shift where swapping batteries isn't convenient. Speaking of Wi-Fi, the Stream Vision 2 app lets you stream what you see to a smartphone or tablet. In practice, it's a handy way to share live thermal footage with a hunting partner sitting in the blind, or to record a quick clip for a security log. The connection is fairly stable within 30 meters, and the app overlays the rangefinder data, battery status, and a simple reticle. For users who need to document a sighting, say a wildlife researcher capturing a thermal video of nocturnal activity, the streaming feature adds real value without needing a separate camera. Now, the practical weaknesses. The first thing you'll notice when you pick it up is the weight. At just under 3 pounds, the Merger LRF is heavier than most traditional binoculars and even bulkier than many single-tube thermal scopes. That's a trade-off you have to accept for the dual eye view and the integrated rangefinder. If you plan to carry it for hours on a hike or need to keep your load light for a fast-move hunt, the weight could become a fatigue factor. The unit also has a fairly steep learning curve. The menu system isn't as intuitive as some newer thermal devices, and you'll spend a few minutes adjusting the contrast, brightness, and palette to suit the ambient temperature. Users who are brand new to thermal optics might need to read the manual a couple of times before they feel comfortable navigating the settings in low-light conditions. Another limitation is the resolution ceiling. While 640480 is respectable for a binocular, higher-end thermal rifle scopes now push 102/4768 pixels, delivering more detail at the same distance. If your primary need is to identify small objects like a concealed weapon or a small animal at the edge of a fence, the extra pixel count could make a noticeable difference. The Merger LRF will still give you a solid heat signature, but fine details may blend together at the longest ranges. The export control notice is worth a quick mention. Because the device includes a laser rangefinder and advanced thermal imaging, it's subject to international export restrictions. That doesn't affect US buyers, but if you live outside the United States or plan to travel with it across borders, you'll need to verify that you're compliant with local regulations. It's a small administrative hurdle that can turn into a headache if you overlook it. So, who should consider buying the Pulsar Merger LRF XP50? If you're a serious hunter who regularly operates in low-light or heavily vegetated terrain,